It is for you. It is for you. It is for you.
I was just sitting here and I watched the dog, it's the sky, and he's going up, brother is walking with him, going up, and just goes like this. And the thought came to me like this, another reflection came, like sometimes you are taking like a snake or something is going in the road, I see, and I stop, and I try and take him across because I see that traffic is going to get smashed. If you take it to try and put it across and he bites you, because they don't know anything apart from the reactions or something, the fear, like this. Or this dog, it was 3 weeks ago or whatever, it was just lying inside a pet shop in a glass box, as many creatures are. I see many of them. And you take them out, of course, and you come to a place like this, but it has no way of showing appreciation. It doesn't know, oh, thank you for taking me out of this bit. I mean, some do, some things. I see some fishes, living in a very small thing. You take them out, put them in a river, and they just move. They don't know, and for them it's fine, because the consciousness is working in a simple way. But for a human being, appreciation is a very powerful thing, because it's part of the way in which the consciousness refine itself and become more humble, more pliable, more receptive, and so on. So with the animal, you can see they don't know. You take them out of. I saw actually there are some that have this awareness. I was watching one video somebody sent me of a lion or something. I think the lion was somehow, it was in some desperate situation before, and it was rescued by some people. And like 1.5 years later, the people came to see the lion. The lion came and was hugging them and was very happy. Like, so my God, look at this. Like they didn't have a relationship before. I think it got rescued or something from some situation. I don't know what the details were. But now it sees the people. Remember, you saved my life. Yeah? And it hugs them and licks them. Maybe another 2 come, he eats them. But these 2, I remember you. That you saved my life. And so it has this thing. And those human beings, we look at this and think, wow, look at this, amazing. The lion usually eats you. This lion is it's even showing affection. You can see that lion is very, very affection. It's rubbing its head against the shoulders, it's licking, it's hugging the guys. I saw it, I don't know if many of you see this thing. But generally, things, they don't seem to show this thing. I remember one time in my house in London, in my mother's house, I was sitting one day with my sister, and we have a fireplace, a traditional chimney fireplace, but in many places in London now they cover them and they put the gas fire there. We also have gas fire now. And everything is blocked up except a little hole at the bottom where I think they left the flue or draft come in, a little hole at the bottom. We were sitting inside the front room, and I saw this thing go like this. I said, wow, what's that? It was such a surprise. This little, I said, oh, look at this. And Julie came in, my sister, and she said, what is that? I said, look at this, keep your eye on this hole. And again, and she jumped completely on top of the sofa. She said, what is that? But I said, no, I think there's something there. I started to look at it. I said, it must be something that's trapped there. And it was a bird. A bird had fallen from the chimney and dropped all the way down. Now, there's no chance you have. It can't fly out of that. So it is going to die there. So we went and we took the whole chimney apart, take out my mother's fireplace and everything, opened, and this little bird, we opened the window, the little bird come flying on the window, fly across the road and stop on the other window on the opposite side of the road. And it stood there for about, I don't know, half a minute singing. I've said this, okay, it's enough, it's okay. But I knew it was just so happy. It was just so happy to be free. Yes. I saw this bird. I said, my God, look at this. Julie, look. Because she would not. She would leave it there. She would go and spray something. Because she's afraid. That's what we do. When you're afraid, you don't know what it is. She would go and spray fly killer or something on it. But we took it apart, and the bird came out, and I wanted her to see. And she herself, she cried. She was so happy. She said, my God, look at that. The bird is saying thank you for this. I did. So some they display this, but in the human being, this should always be there. Like for every moment of your life. To look and just have a heart full of gratitude. Gratitude even for the fact that you got a body that can sense, you got senses, you got a mind that you can think, even to think. You can say thank you that I can think even. The thoughts can beat the shit out of you, okay? But also you can use it wisely and learn so much, because consciousness needs to think at first and then to outsmart thinking to come back to its own peace. It has to learn how to use the mind properly. The mind is like a big ship. Consciousness has to use this mind somehow as the biggest mirror for itself. So in a human being, this attitude of gratitude should always be there. But we develop so bad attitude by identifying as a person that we rarely say thank you. We're always complaining. Something doesn't suit me. I don't like this. Why do I have to do that? And so this is a human being. I don't know if any other creature on the world, in the planet, does this thing. We are the masters of complaint. Why this happened? I don't like my life. I don't like being here. I want to be there. I don't like my family. I think we are the experts at this. But the attitude of gratitude, I feel, this is why I say thank you. Learn to say thank you. At first, you may not think you have anything to say thank you for. So you can just start mechanically, just saying thank you. And then it starts to come inside. Oh my God, I could say thank you for this, or thank you for that, thank you. Who are you saying thank you to? Doesn't matter. Even if you don't believe in a God, you know life. You must be smart enough and sufficient intelligence to say thank you to whatever makes this possible. That I can feel the sense of being, the sense of presence. I can feel and enjoy the sunlight, or good health, or to see someone happy, to feel inspiration. This thank you. Why not thank you? It is infinitely greater and smarter than saying, oh no thank you, I don't want this. It's so much. So we are not so smart. You cripple your consciousness with just trying to be something, trying to be special, trying to be seen. It's completely. Just to say thank you for even painful experiences. You say, yeah, actually, it brought this insight, it brought a certain thing. Painful experiences, it teach you to be more contemplative, more reflective, and so on. Everything, you can say thank you for this thing. Yeah. So this is why I say, even if you start off, you don't know, you maybe have developed such bad habit, you don't think there's anything in life to say thank you for. I've met people like this. So what do I say thank you for? For what? My life's a bitch. I said, really? Okay. Well, it's going to become a super bitch if you can't continue like that. So all this can change. It's just delusions.
Mooji, sometimes naturally that feeling of thank you is just there. It's just that expression of gratitude is there, and then other times there's more, you could say, like negative energy or anger or this sort of like energy there. And if I try to say, oh no, that shouldn't be there, I should say thank you, then does it not create more?
No, not that shouldn't be there. Not that shouldn't be there, but make use of that to find your real attitude. Not that should not be there. Because many things have to be there in order to, in fact, it's that when the thing that you are blaming for your anger feelings, in themselves, they've got nothing to do with anger necessarily. It's just that maybe something inside you feel that should not be there. You see? But when you reflect and if you look more deeply, you'll see that, wait, that thing being there, that thing manifesting, is helping for me to see something that maybe I would not see otherwise. You see? And that it is worth seeing that, because in a way, like, we don't want to see something that's not flowing inside. But you should thank the thing that show you that something is not flowing inside. In a way. You can look and say, okay, I can see, because almost we feel that there's a wrong that is just outside us. This is a wrong that's doing. Yes, and there is that too, because there are other forms and other belief systems functioning around you. But nothing by itself can make you suffer. You have to participate. You have to also tune in, log in to that type of a certain mentality to then feel, I don't like. But if you look into it and you feel what even painful things bring, and you are very still inside and allow it, don't say it should not be, let it be there. And be quiet. You will see the opportunity you would otherwise have missed if you just label that thing as being wrong. I see that in everything it's possible to look and to find what it somehow brings to you that is a positive, an opportunity for transcendence or for clarifying something or putting an end to something. It's there in service of something. I don't think there's anything that you may call happening. We're going to get more subtle now to speak like that, because what constitutes an happening or an event? What is it that is there any such thing as an event, or is it an event for you in your mind? Because what through your conditioning you may perceive as an event, someone entirely would not register that even happened. So if it was truly an event, it would be an event for everybody, because it has nothing to do with whether your choice or not. But an event has a lot to do with somehow how you respond to something, or something happens and what says, okay, this thing has happened. This thing is happening to me. Particularly if the feeling this thing is happening to me, then it registers as an event. And this was why I was given the example that if I ask what's happening here, somebody come on the scene just now and say, what's happening here? Two people may answer very differently. One person may say, listen, don't even ask, because you can't cope with my answer. There's too many things happening here to even begin to tell you now. And in the time it tells me to tell you, another 100 things are happening. And somebody else in the same space may say, nothing's happening. And I would have to accept both answers as true in their own right. Because a thing is not true in itself. It's true in the mind of the perceiver. It is whatever it is in the mind of the perceiver. And this is why I say that it can change. And why I will not call anything in the manifest world truth. Because it is optional. It is depending upon your perception of it. So even something may be called a truth, but someone is totally not aware of it at all. So how can you evaluate or discern something to be an absolute, or meaning the truth, meaning something absolute, means that it's always true. It is on any angle, any moment, any situation, any circumstances, it is always consistently, dependably true. Is there anything like that? And you'd have to admit there is nothing like that. Nothing exists as an absolute in itself. Nothing phenomenal exists as an absolute in itself. It is only in the mind of the perceiver that deems it to be, it exists or it doesn't exist, that gives it credibility. Do you know anything at all that you can say, of this I am totally sure this exists as a reality for you? You see? That is not altered by time or by mood or the mood of perception, the functioning of perception, or anything like this? Can you say anything that you can say this remains constant throughout all the changing states? Even if someone really understood this inside the heart, it would make a difference to what you call your life. The thing is that we read so much, we hear so much, we talk so much, that actually words don't have any power at all. We've overused them. Overusing words mean that you use words, but you have not contemplated them. You have not verified their validity inside your heart. They're just kind of concepts that we pass around, like currency. Like I spent £10 yesterday, I don't miss it. I don't remember that £10 personally. It was not a personal £10. We are used that concept like this. And like money, suppose your grandmother gave you, $10. It's $10. For anybody else, it's $10, but for you, it's your grandmother's $10. Okay? So somebody comes and wants to borrow some money from you, and they say, "Listen, man, can I borrow $10 from you?" Say, "Yeah, go in my purse and you can take it." You say, "Oh, don't touch this one. I can give you another $10, but don't touch this $10." So for them, they say, "Hey, what's it about, $10 or $10?" No, it's okay, but you can have this one, because this is more than $10. This has been sentimentalized now, so it's my grandmother's $10. Okay, so that meaning you have given to it. Nobody else has given to it. And it is the same with most concepts. You use concepts, we use concepts. They're not special in themselves. You make them special. So I want to know if there's anything in the life that you can say consistently, this keeps its validity, this keeps its truthfulness, this keeps its factfulness. This is always the same. I don't think you're going to give me an answer on that one. And if you see that everything that I consider to be so is just how it appears to me in my consciousness, how it appears to me through my upbringing or my programming or whatever, and that I give the right and see that in another person and not in another vessel of consciousness it might be perceived very differently. It may not even be acknowledged as important enough to call it an event. Then you'd have to admit, actually, I cannot see anything at all that I can say this thing is absolutely the same in any time of day, in any time of year, in any season, in any mood. It remains the same. Then if you've understood this inside your heart, then you cannot give power to something. You cannot give it. Nothing has that power in itself. It has to be a relationship that you supply the power of your meaning to it, the meaning it should have for you. It does not have the power in itself, because if something had the power in itself, it would have the power over everybody. For everybody would have to acknowledge this thing is powerful. This cup is a divine cup. Then I show someone who's an atheist, this guy, "Oh no, I can't drink, that's a divine cup." You'd have to say that. They say, "No, this is a little rubbish. Divine, what's the rubbish?" You see? So you cannot say that. You can only say, "This is how it feels for me." And even how it feels for you. Maybe tomorrow you change your mind. Tomorrow, listen, man, just give it to the pigs. Your nothing is so constant. Then if you've understood this and contemplated it, not just understand it intellectually, but you've really contemplated it, then what is going to be so fascinating about anything in the world for you? And whatever that thing is, in itself it has no power. It only has power in its symbol inside your mind. I'm just asking you to look at this and to say, honestly, is it true or not? Then you'll have an understanding a little bit of what things are. You will have an understanding in your heart that, how can anything that I'm perceiving destroy me? break my heart. Oh my God! Unless it is just your projection. And I don't want to say glibly like, okay, fine, done, finished, now everybody can go. No, you're going to have to sit with that. You're going to have to sit with that over breakfast and lunch and dinner and bedtime. You're going to have to contemplate that until somehow it gets rendered inside your being. Because if you say, yeah, I agree, that was really nice, you'll walk off and you'll go different directions with that understanding. It will not stay with you. Why? Because you've done it 1,000 times with different things that you've looked at and felt, this is so important. You walk away and it is not inside your being anymore. Then is there a need for anything like this to stay with you? Actually, I would say through contemplation, it is worth it that when an insight flowers inside your heart, then it is good to give time to register, to acknowledge this inside your being. Don't just say, well, it's just another phenomenon, I can forget about it. Because that is just stupidity. You cannot be you're not going to somehow transcend the power of your own egoic thinking like that. You have to somehow sit and verify your experience, digest your seeing, your understanding. Just that little bit you have to do. Contemplate over and over again. There are just a few insights that you need to somehow acknowledge in the depths of your heart. Not 100 things, not 15 things. But some things simply flower inside your consciousness. And it's so important that you have to leave everything for it. You have to leave your family, leave dinner. Sometimes you have to put your baby down. For a minute, I just have to go and just have to sit in the garden for a minute with this and just digest your understanding. Don't just say, I can wait, I'll get back to that. No. Sometimes you have to leave things which appear to be important to go and sit by yourself, to render your seeing, to firm up your understanding in them. And it is worth it, because when you do that, the power of that insight is going to infuse power maybe for the rest of your life, if it needs to be. It will inform your consciousness in such a powerful way. But if you're just treating it like, some kind of, candy you enjoy for a moment, then nothing comes of it. How many of us have read things in books that you felt, wow, that is so powerful. But you can't remember what it is. It didn't join your life. It just joined your mind for a moment, like you did with flavors. So many flavors you can taste, and it's just pass on. But there are some things that you will hear or see or experience that will change your life. Maybe it will be a person. Maybe it will be a doctor or a meeting, one meeting or something that is going to have such a tremendous impact on your life. It's not going to be the same again. Like if you go to see your doctor and they do some tests and you go back to get the report. You're going back next week. We send you next Wednesday. We'll send you the report, and then on Monday the doctor call you. I think you better come and see me in person. Already, tick tock. They sit you down and say, who is your next of kin? Your life is changed already. Okay, there's some news. It need not be bad. It can just be impactful. That the impact of that, the few words spoken, is going to change the velocity of your thinking, the way that you look. Is gonna, one moment, something said, something heard or understood, is gonna kill time for you. When I say kill time, I'm talking past time. I'm talking about time is finished for you. It leaves you no future. You know what it's like when you got no future? People think, oh my God, no future. Actually, you are beginning to be free. When you don't have this space, because at present our future is only space for you to project your fantasies upon. When something robs you of time, takes time away from you, introduces you to the presence. Something inside fight. No. That's terrible, man, terrible. But then at a subconscious level, your life, your soul begins to breathe again, because you say, my God, I don't have time to play in my head anymore. Some people also, their life begins when they hear the news that they're going to die, actually. They begin to live. They say, my God, every moment is precious. So what do we understand about life? Very little. About life, there's no life apart from you. So if I say, what do you understand about life? I say very little. I can change it. What do you understand about you? Very little. Same thing. You, life, same thing. And do you need to understand in terms of information? No, you don't. Your life should not be information. Knowing yourself is not information. It is knowing some fundamental things. Like I say, that whatever you see, whatever you experience, nothing is permanent. You know? And this is not a depressing discovery, in fact. It's a liberation. It's only a depression for our projecting mind. That you waste your life projecting all kind of fantasies which are totally unrealistic, rather than face the full moment as it is, the fullness of what you are as you are. To live a life filled with distractions and distortions. Why grieve if such a life is cut short? So these recent times I've been talking more and more that the second aspect of my work of teaching, maybe that you can put like this, is more happening on an energetic level, because the verbal is never actually been verbal, my interaction. It's always been energetic. But very often the people are listening on a verbal way, because that's how traditionally we've understood things, or have the notion of understanding things, is that it makes sense, and and you have a feeling that you know something here, but here you deny it in your livity. It's not carrying through. It's like you here, you are, Shiva, but down here, you're quite something else. So they have to tally up somehow. You cannot dictate to life how life should be for you, to serve you. That is total arrogance. If there's going to be an exchange, it is you who must drop. Life cannot drop. You have to drop your notions about who you are, about what life is. And something inside fights to retain identity. I want to be like this. I want to, it has to be like this. You want to keep you, but you don't know who you are, because the idea we have of who we are is almost a poison, actually, to our true being. Very often we are very selfish, very full of fantasy, full of complaints and fears, resistances, judgments, spiritual fantasies, all of this stuff. And something inside is fighting to preserve this idea of self. And you can spend your whole life, if not lifetimes actually, in that delusion. This is why I say, come, spend 5, 7 or 10 days here. It will be enough. If your heart is full, if your heart is very open, I think you can move mountains of delusion. If your heart is closed, not even divine beings are really going to shift it. If you are just full of you, your own idea.
Is contemplation a way to integrate the energy as well?
Yes, because what happens is that from time to time, if you have said yes inside your being, that when I say yes, what I mean by yes, I don't mean a sort of like a superficial yes. I mean something inside feels yes. It comes to a place of yes, not a dry mental intellectual yes, but just a yes, like I'm open, I'm ready, I'm available, as much as my capacity allows me to be. I say yes to the truth. I don't know the details of truth. I only know the vibe of truth. Something touched my heart, and it is enough. One whiff, an incense whiff of God's breath is enough for you. You don't need all an afternoon of it. It's enough to stir up within you an urge to finish your delusions. That's what I mean. And the moment you have said yes, then things begin to arise, like waves of illumination will come from time to time. Sometimes unexpectedly you are walking and an insight burst flowers inside your consciousness. And you just need to go and sit down for a moment and be with that. Don't be mental with it, just to be with that. Acknowledge it somehow. To sit with that, to offer up your full attention to that. That's what I call self-respect. To be with it. Maybe in the beginning you don't know how. How do I be with it? Well, don't think too much about it. Just sit. Just sit. Like if you were walking one day and then somehow God came to walk with you and sit down together. Would you have a lot of questions? You don't know. Maybe you're just so empowered by the silence that you're just happy just to sit. This is contemplation. What do you do in contemplation? You don't know. You're just there. But your whole being is an offering to that moment. How? I don't want to say how. I don't want to create limitations around you. Just be there. And you'll find that all your B, C, D, E, F problems, they have no play, they have no context, they have no part, they have no space to molest your peace. You're singular in your presence. If you don't contemplate things in a way, they don't stay with you. When I say contemplate, I don't make a ceremony about it. I'm just saying that when something touches you deeply, naturally, without anybody telling you, you want to go and be with it. In the highest points in your life, the highest moments in your life, you actually are the best time is being alone, actually. You want to just go and sit with that because it's just so full. The most powerful times in your life, you will be on your own. Just to sit with inside your own presence and be quiet. And it goes for everything also, not just human beings, a creature or something, anything. A dog gets hit in the road and he runs off into the bush, he sits there. He's going to be in a powerful contemplation. It's just you are compelled, in fact. There's a side to our nature that just is working to be comfortable. But when you work to be comfortable, you just go to sleep in yourself. You sleep your chance by. Sometimes I'm not saying to go look for trouble. I'm just saying that somehow you're open and life visits you in many different ways, in many different forms. You become alive into life. When you are in a state of contemplation, you naturally don't want to be in company very much. It is not something it's not a social quality. It is very, very reflective and quiet. And then after, if you move with other people, they are not sucking your energy, in fact. Your presence is radiating energy of the best kind. You would not be saying, oh, I can't sit with people because somehow they dissipate my energy. You will not experience that. You find in whatever situation you are, you're perfectly, charged inside with your own stillness. It's not that you are your energy is fragmenting or that you are emerging energy. It will not feel like that. Anyone who is truly in satsang after a short time and energy will be flowing that is inexhaustible. In fact, it's inexhaustible. You know what exhausts you? Being ego is the most exhausting thing. Being self-conscious in a psychological way, how I'm doing, how the people see me, this is exhausting. The most conserving, being empty. Not planning your next action, your next thought, your next feeling, nothing at all. Just you're here. You see. We started off just this little talk because I said I saw the dog walking up, and I remember. And that very often, many times you see animal, maybe you try to save them and something, they bite you. Because they don't have that insight, they don't see that your action is taking them to a better situation. And many people are like that actually. We don't have to go to the insect world or the animal world for that. Something is being done that is good, but they perceive it in their mind as bad. Is the thing bad? Then in their consciousness they register it as bad. If your mind is clean, everything that happens in the world is good. Everything is in service to you. If your mind is dirty, nothing in the world is good. You want to come out of this world, and you will bring your sickness to the next world.
So the prayer is to see you, to feel you everywhere, to only hear you, only sense you, to always be in your embrace. My all belongs to you. My heart is only yours. It's all for you. 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 There's only you.